Hi. Today's video is a little different than normal. Typically I do like more scripted videos, but today I wanted to kind of do something a little different for me. I wanted to kind of like share a little like story from my childhood, and I thought it could be like relevant to other people that have kind of gone through something similar. So I'm a little uncomfortable to be making this video, to be very honest. It's one that I've kind of wanted to make since like it kind of things kind of transpired and happened or whatever, but it never really felt like appropriate, or it felt like oversharing a little bit. It's weird. Like I can't see you guys, but I know that there are eyes on me. So kind of just the concept of that was always like a little scary. And I just like hear my mom in the back of my head being like, don't do this, don't put this on the internet. But I think some of the positives of this could really outweigh the negatives. So that was kind of like my thought process behind making this video. And it's completely unscripted, so if I get a little rambly, like just bear with me. So yeah, today is gonna be about my journey with the website Omegle, which is so silly to even say, but that is what I'm telling you guys today. So let's just get into it. For those of you guys who don't know what Omegle is kind of like a chat roulette type of situation where there's two versions of it. There's like a chat version, and then there's like a face-to-face version. So the chat version is kind of just like you text a random stranger basically, and the video version is like you talk to someone in the world, and you have like, you know, you can like chat with them. You can also like speak to them and see them. So that's the basis of Omegle. You're supposed to be 13 plus to use it, and I started around like 12. So my journey with Omegle starts in 6th grade. I was at the library at my town, and my friend and I were just like dicking around as one does, and she told me about this like website that she had found, and she was like, it's so fun, like you would love it, like I know we should do it. And I was like, what is it? Like, oh my god, like tell me more. You know, I love breaking the rules. So I'm lying. I didn't really like to break the rules when I was a kid. I was very like a mama's boy. And so the idea of like doing something that is like the cardinal sin for like a child, which is like, don't talk to strangers. The fact that I was about to do that was kind of like gnawing on my brain. But my friend was like, no, it's fine. It's totally fine. It'll be safe, whatever. And this was like my best friend since I was like a little kid. And so we were like, let's go on it, whatever. And so we log on for the first time. And since we're 6th grade and I had kind of not loved the way that I looked back then, I didn't really want to go on the video chat one. That seemed like really risky. I watched a lot in order SVU. So I was very aware of like kids getting picked up. So I was like, let me not do that. But like the chat one is kind of like different or whatever. So my friend and I just started talking to people. And surprisingly, there was a lot of people like my age on there. I was 6th grade, like 12, 11. So I was able to like talk to people my own age. There's like a thing you do on Omegle where you say ASL, which is age, sex, location, and you basically ask someone that and they'll give you their age, sex, location. So typically you'll find like a lot of guys on there looking for like girls, or you'll find a lot of older men looking for young girls or boys. So that's kind of what you find. So to be honest, although people I thought were my age, I have no way of actually knowing that through the text version. You know, I assumed I was talking to kids, whatever. So after that first time, like I was hooked. I had an iPad, and I think I got my iPhone in 7th grade. So I think I had like gone on Omegle like for the first time at the end of 6th grade, and then going into 7th grade, I got my phone or my iPad at some point. And I had a laptop, I believe. So I had like ample ways of talking to people. So the first time I did it, like I was instantly hooked. I think it was just, I didn't really have a lot of friends like growing up. So like, as sad as it is, like a bit online, whatever, but like it's just true. I didn't really talk to a lot of people. So I kind of like clung to the idea of like talking to strangers or whatever. That's why it like struck me when I first went on, and I was like, wow, people will just like talk to me for hours. And I just remember like literally being hooked. And so like that night I went on my iPad. I was in like the library parking lot, and I continued alone without my friend, and I was just like doing my own thing, like talking to like random people or whatever. And like the conversations never got like super crazy. It was kind of just like you know, talking like kids do or whatever, like kids 12, 11, whatever. So like sometimes the conversations would get a little sexual, but like not really. I mean, I was like 6th, 7th grade, so I hadn't really got there yet. So fast forward a little bit, I kind of kept like texting people, but again, like it was really not that much. The texting was just like the intro. Like a year later, so 8th grade, I want to say, it was like, it was time. I was like, you know what? Like I always saw the video option, and I was like, is today the day? And so my friend and I, again at the library of all places, I'm from like a kind of small town, so like you either go to the library, you go to the Walmart or McDonald's, but we didn't have cars, so it was either the Walmart or it was the library. So that's just where I happened to be for most of this. And I got out my trusty old Chromebook and I logged on for the first time with my friend on the video chat. And so that was the first time that I had ever gone on for video. And was that a trip? So for reference, on Omegle, typically it's a lot of guys like seeking out girls. So when I would go on the first couple times video chat, it was like a lot of girls like would be with me because I would want to like keep the attention. And at this point in my life, I knew I was gay, so I like liked the male attention. A lot of it wasn't for me, which was fine. You know, I was still like getting the validation and I could like see it. So I was kind of living through it through the girls. And a lot of the girls that we would meet on there like loved my personality, and so did some of the guys. Like it was just fun to like kind of get that like attention that I had always wanted in that validation. So that's kind of why I stuck on it. So the first time we went on the video chat, I was like instantly hooked, and it was like honestly like a drug. Like, you know, I did like the video chat. I mean, I did the like the text chatting for as long as I could, and then when I got to the next step, I was like, time for video chatting. I went on with my friends. You know, I would at first kind of only really do it with them. Like we'd go to the library or like I'd have them over. And we would kind of like go on together or whatever. That was kind of where it like kind of plateaued for a little bit because I knew that it was always kind of risky. So in the back of my head, I always knew like, probably shouldn't be doing this, but like I didn't want to stop because it was like so fun. So I continued like doing it with my friends, and so ninth grade rolls around and I was kind of ready to start like doing things on my own. I didn't really want to like rely on my friends. And again, like you can only get validation like from someone else for so long, like through someone else. Like me being in the room with the girls was like one thing, whereas like me getting it myself is like what I really craved. So I was like, I need to start doing this alone. And so that's what I did. And this is when the story gets a little wild. I literally can't believe I'm admitting this, but I feel like I really want to share this. So my freshman year, I like knew like how to get attention or whatever. And so I had seen a lot of my girlfriends get attention, and keep in mind at this point, no one knows me, but like I was like 200 pounds and like 5'7", 5'6". Like I weighed quite a bit. And so I had this like skill that I was able to like, oh, this is so embarrassing, but I would like tape my boobs together and I would go on Omegle like that, and I would just show them like the cleavage. And the difference that I would get when I did that versus like going on alone just as myself was like crazy. So yes, did I know I was a catfish? Absolutely. But like I didn't care. You know what I mean? Like I was getting my attention. And so at this point, I kind of started doing that towards the end of ninth grade. It's like the beginning, it was still like just kind of me. But towards the end, I was like showing pretty much like here, like down. And yeah, I mean, guys like loved it. Like they really believed it. And I always had like a plan as to what I would say, like if they kind of caught me in a lie and they'd be like, show your face. I would be like, no, like I'm like young or whatever. And they loved that part that I was young, which like looking back is so bad. You know, just like, like a lot of them were like 22, 23, 24. They know I was like 13, 14. I would sometimes lie and say I was like 15, 16. But like 15, 16 when y'all are like 25 is like fucking wild. And they loved it. And so this is when I think I like hit gold in a weird way. I kind of started to realize that like this was the sort of attention that I needed. And I was getting it now in like a weird way from like being like having boobs, which is whatever. But I feel like a lot of people have done this actually, but it's just for me, it's like, oh my God. And so I would kind of start doing it like way more often, but I told like nobody because I was so embarrassed. Like people knew that I would like kind of go on, but not to like the extent that I would. And then until my friend, I got her on. This is a different friend that like introduced it to me. So this is like, I had her in middle school, and then this is another girl from high school who was like my best friend. Me and her would FaceTime for like 5. We would literally go home, like do our shit for like a couple hours until like 7 or 8 at night. And we would literally go on from 8 p.m. till 1 a.m. just like talking to guys, like doing little performances, like doing whatever. Like we would be on FaceTime with each other. We would screen share, and we were just like making it a game. But like I can't stress enough how often this was. It was probably 3 times during the week and 2 times on the weekend for at least like 3 to 4 hour sessions. So I was clocking in like 20 to 25 hours on this website, just talking to guys, and it was really fun for me. I enjoyed it at the time because it was kind of like filling that void of like, I go home and like no one's hitting me up, so I'm like, let me go do this. And it just kind of like filled something in me. And then my friend and I would do it together a lot. It was kind of like we would fuel each other. So like if one of us wasn't really wanting to do it that night, the other one would. And so we kind of get the other one on, and we would like continue this. At this time, let's say it's like 9th grade, I also started to like download way more apps to like talk to strangers, basically, because I think like the addiction of it was like that I could like talk to strangers, like to talk to anyone. And I just like craved that attention. Like some kids played Clash of Clans and Minecraft. I was hoeing myself out on the internet for approval of 28-year-olds. Like it was just like my game almost. It became like really addictive. And so I started to download like Omegle app. There was like Monkey. There was a bunch of other ones that I would like download and go on, but none quite stuck like Omegle because it was just so easy. I mean, all you do is log on and keep going. So that was 9th grade. Fast forward, we're going to go to like 10th grade now. This is when it was in full effect. So like the addiction didn't really start till the end of 9th grade. And then throughout all of 10th grade, pretty much my friend and I would do this. Mainly on the weekends, but on the weekends sometimes it would be like from 6 p.m. to like 2 a.m. So this was like a job, and I would be on, tits fully taped up. Like I bought a wig. Like I was really going there. And it worked. Like I was getting the attention. I would text. Like it started to the point where I like even made a Snapchat, and I would like pretend to be her. And it was just like this whole thing of like, I needed that like attention or whatever. But I kind of like started relationships with some of these people. And the part that I'm like getting into now is like, yes, it seems like it was all fun up into this, but like this is when like I started to like click in my head that like maybe this was kind of like not right, because like at the time I was 15 and a lot of these guys were like 22, 27, 28, and like it didn't really hit me until I'm now 21, where I'm looking back at like what I was doing as a kid, and I'm like, oh my god, like really, like people my age are like going after, like it just didn't click until like now, you know, you hear the excuse like, oh, you're just like mature for your age or whatever, and like it's so bad, and you don't really realize that until it's like too late kind of deal. Like now I'm this age and I realized like what they were doing was just like, wow, okay. So, you know, I started to like Snapchat all of these people. Some of those relationships lasted like 4 years online. Continued, like spoiler alert, it lasted a little longer. We were like texting, whatever. And it was like, it just like, it was fun for me. So yeah, like 10th grade, it kind of started to pick up a lot more. But this is when things started to get like a little scary. I mean, like you're dealing with people on the internet, so like anything could honestly happen, and you don't know who you're gonna talk to. I mean, that's the whole point. It's like you're talking to strangers. And so I started to like, I mean, I was just on for so long that like I was bound to just start seeing some shit. So there was one story that I remember where I was talking to some guy. I was in the library with one of my other friends, different girl, because I was just introducing this to everyone, which I feel terrible about because God knows what it did to me, let alone my new friends. Like, ugh, whatever. But my friend and I went on, and there was a black screen, and this guy basically like started to track us, and he was like, yeah, like I know where you are. And I was like, prove it, prove it, prove it. And he sent the fucking library we were at. My friend and I literally crapped ourselves. I was like, oh, so you're like dead ass tracking me right now. And it was a black screen, so I don't even know what the person looked like on the other line, like whatever. He said he was from ISIS, like I don't know. But like what I'm saying is like you don't know what these people are doing on the other line. And they had like my face, they had her face, and like they knew where we were, where we lived, like the exact coordinates. So it was really freaky. Something like that happened. There was another story where, oh my God, I saw like this, I don't know if it was real or not, but there was like a video of like, I don't even want to really get into detail because it's like not even demonetized. It's like I don't want me like saying this on the internet, but it was, I saw a crime essentially, and I just like couldn't believe it was real. I mean, you see like the fake kidnappings a lot, like where people like will fake that. You've seen like fake murders on there. Like obviously some of them are fake, but some of them are real, you know? And like some people do want to like spook you and scare you. And so a lot of like, I did see a lot of darkness on there as well. But again, like you just get thrown like right back into it. And it feels good. Like the attention, my generation especially has complete unrestricted access to the internet. I was on Kik doing this. I was on Snapchat doing this. I was on the Omegle apps doing this. I was on Tinder doing this. Like it was just like everywhere I could talk to anyone, I did. And so that was like 10th grade. And then fast forward through to 11th grade, things kind of started to slow down, I think, for me. I kind of actually like had like a major weight loss in my sophomore year, so 10th grade. And for me, I lost like 20-30 pounds maybe. It was like a big deal. So like my body looked a lot different. And I just started feeling like better with myself a lot. So I didn't really feel the urge to like dress up as someone online anymore when I like felt like I was more confident in myself. And so I'll say that I kind of stopped doing the dressing up part of it and just more so went on as myself. And, you know, that worked kind of for a while. But again, it was the same time span of like, I remember we would be like on family vacations and I would lock myself in the room at like 9 p.m. and go on till like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., just like talking to these random people. I mean, like the like nonsensical clicking, the non-thought clicking. It was next. Like it was just that rush of like the next person. I would like to say like it never really got in the way of like my grades and stuff. So I don't want to say like I didn't suffer like education wise from it, but I did like stop hanging out with my friends to like do this. And I would just not want to like interact with any of them because I just thought like this is more fun, this is better, I get like more of a rush from this. So I kind of like put all my friends to the back burner really, which kind of sucks. So moving on, this is like 11th grade. I said like I kind of stopped doing the whole dress up thing, whatever, but I still had like different Snapchat accounts. I think at like my peak I had like 4 or 5. Like I was just like running all these different lives. I wouldn't go as far as like catfishing because like nothing was like a lie and like it was technically me. I just like looked a little different. And then I like had a boy account too, so it was just like really confusing. And honestly, like when you're that young, it can be so confusing to like live all these different lives because it's like you're trying to figure out who you are, but you don't even know who you are yet. And you're like acting as all these people, kind of like giving everyone a little bit of yourself, but never like looking at what you needed. So I think that I kind of like struggled with that too. Like even now, it's like, I wonder what like psychological impacts this like had on me because, you know, learning about all, these things in college, it's just like, wow, I was doing that when I was 15. Are you dead ass? Like I wasn't on the corner, but I was on the virtual corner. And that probably isn't the best. Fast forward now to my final year at school. And this is when things really started to slow down. Honestly, I can't really say like a specific thing that like caused me to stop on Omegle. Like I mentioned earlier, there was like a lot of like bad like warning signs, bad things that would happen to me. And I always kind of like brushed them under the rug. I ignored them. But a lot of them like started to happen more frequently. And so I kind of got like a little nervous, I guess. And each time one of these like bad things would happen, because I was on so frequently that like they were just bound to happen. Basically something would happen and I would go off for like 2 or 3 days, go back on. And then maybe a week later something else would happen. And then I'd be like, okay, maybe a week. And then it became a month, and then it became a month and a half, 2 months. And I kind of like started to wean myself off of it because I realized like it just wasn't worth it. And I also started to get nervous that like somebody might catch me and somebody might like take a video of me and like post that shit somewhere. So I was like, I need to like cut this off before like it really bites me in the ass. And so that's kind of when things started to end. And I kind of just like quit it pretty much one day. I was just like, this really isn't worth it. But I still like held on to a lot of those like connections that I had. Like I had those Snapchat accounts still. Those weren't deleted till like 2 years ago. So I kept those also like up for a while. But you know, it's hard to cut off that attention completely. I would just say I moved to other outlets. Like now I have real life. Now I'm like of age and I can like do things. I have like a car, a life. I'm at college. Like there are just like that attention can be filled in other ways. But when I was in high school and middle school, like that was how I got my attention and I got my fix. It's just that like I never really like analyzed like what happened and like how like what I was doing and why I was doing it until quite recently. Now that I am like the age of the people I was talking to, it seems so beyond crazy that like they would ever seek out someone my age, and even want to do like something with me like that. So I just think I realize now that like probably wasn't the healthiest, and I just kind of want to make this video as like a warning. Maybe like don't talk to strangers online. You know, I thought I was in control the whole time, but I wasn't, and at any point something really really bad could have happened. And there were really scary moments that were like sprinkled throughout, but you know, they don't really seem real until like someone's banging at your door. And thankfully that didn't happen to me, but you know, I still don't know what like people have videos of me. I still don't know. I could have been the next Amanda Todd. Like I just don't know. And so the fact that I was living like that, yeah, there was a rush to it and excitement because I was like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. But it was like genuinely awful. And like my parents never found out until now, hey, and it makes me especially nervous because I see some people on TikTok like going on now. When I was on, I remember like it started to like lose popularity, Omegle, to where like when I would first start going on in like middle school, it had like 30,000 people on because it tells you in the top corner. And when I kind of finished and got off, it was like 10,000, 6,000. Like it was just so low. And now that number's at like 60,000 again. And it's just so many kids going on. And they're being exposed to the most foul shit because it is not like a controlled environment. People are on there whacking off, doing other things. Like people are literally having full on sex on there. So it's like not a good environment for people my age to be. And like I just think about all the things I was exposed to and like how like I'm kind of desensitized now to certain things because of probably that. And just like talking to strangers, I'm not really afraid of like people in that way, you know? So I mean, yeah, that was my experience with Omegle. I just wanted to make a video like this. I hope that it was entertaining. I hope that you guys like learned something, and if you went through something like this, it will end. Like, you know, getting attention in middle and high school like really sucks and it's hard to do, but it was something that I needed and that's how I filled it. But you don't have to do the same thing because I don't recommend it because it will leave some psychological scars that you might not even realize. So yeah, so also if you're seeing this from my school, please don't make fun of me. I really just wanted to make this. I want to be more real on this channel. Like I feel like I never do that. So I'm rambling. I love you guys so much. Follow my Instagram and Twitter because I'm so, so cute. And also it's just like fun when you guys talk to me. Like I love it. Like I love it. So yeah, hopefully I'll see you there. Yeah, that's the story. Bye.